Hey guys, thanks for checking out my video today on Hawaii Knife and Gear. I wanted to wish everyone a happy Memorial Day and just wanted to thank all the men and women in this country who have served, past and present, especially the ones that have given their lives to protect the freedom that we enjoy here in this country. So thank you, and figured I'd bring out a knife today that I thought was kind of fitting, at least the picture of it. This is my Gerber Silver Knight. This is the American Eagle edition. I know it's kind of hard to see here. This is a scrimshaw handle, and I actually carried this knife for a little while, so the artwork is a little bit worn off. Kind of hard to see here, but this is a traditional lockback style folder with a nail nick opening. Like I said, scrimshaw handles to it. It's got silver bolsters, brass liners. And I wanted to read some of the information I got from the Gerber factory on this guy, kind of give you the story and the history on him. So, get this guy in focus here. So the story of the Silver Eagle series, later known as the Silver Knight, goes back to 1972 when Gerber first met with Mr. Sakai Wada, who, in addition to having his own distribution business in Osaka, Japan, is also a great outdoorsman and knife enthusiast. Mr. Wada had been Gerber's exclusive distributor in Japan and also distributed knives of a few better custom knife makers. When Gerber initially decided upon producing this series of folding knives designed by Al Mar, Mr. Wada was asked how to go about getting these manufactured in Japan to the Gerber level of quality. His answer was that the Japanese cutlery industry is set up and controlled by a few trading companies who have historically farmed out the various knife-making operations to small shops. There really wasn't a single manufacturer who could accept the responsibility for making the complete knife with the quality Gerber demands. Gerber temporarily dropped the product, but Mr. Wada didn't. In early 1976, Mr. Wada told Gerber of the Sakai family and how, during his discussions with them, they expressed great interest in pursuing this project. Because of this interest, Mr. Sakai and his family, along with one of Japan's foremost authorities on heat treating, Mr. Takua Onue, have organized the first complete folding knife factory in Japan named Gerber Sakai Homono for the express purpose of making knives in Japan to Gerber quality standards, and all under the direct supervision of Mr. Sakai Wada. Mr. Wada had been able to convince Japan's finest manufacturer of specialty steels that this is a project in which they should be associated. They decided to participate and allowed the exclusive use of their finest stainless steel, Ginghami No. 1. This steel had not been used previously because until then, price had always been foremost in the buyer's eye. The Ginghami No. 1 was heat treated under Mr. Onue's personal supervision to a hardness of Rockwell 58 to 60C, and the blades held an edge unlike anything Gerber had seen come out of Japan. So, this knife here comes in quite a few different variations, and some of the models that I was able to research and find, it actually was offered in this style, which is the single blade. They also made it in 2 and 3 blade versions. I believe about 34 different models overall. They made the scrimshaw versions with the artwork here. They also made some ones with exotic cordia wood. They made ones with pearl. They made some black pearl versions. They made green ABS checkered versions. And they also made a special one in the 2.5-inch version in honor of Halley's Comet when it was coming to destroy the whole world. So this one here, like I said, is the scrimshaw version, and find the information on it. The artwork design was by Mark Boucher, and apparently all of his scrimshaw models should have his name somewhere in the artwork. However, this one is kind of worn off to the point where I can't see where his name actually would be here. So this is a knife that I've had for close to 20 years. I believe this one was produced between about 1986 and 1992. This is one that I have never really had to sharpen. It was always just an incredibly sharp knife. You can see here, if it'll focus, it kind of still has the original grind marks to it. I think I've only ever run this maybe on the ceramic rod once or twice just to, you know, re-hone it, but it has always held just an incredibly sharp edge. And this is one that I would throw in the bottom of my pocket back before I really started getting into knives. I probably had a Swiss Army knife at this time and maybe a couple others, but you know, I'd just drop it in the bottom of my pocket and would disappear amongst the change and whatnot. It was just a really easy gentleman's type carry knife, so it's one that I'm glad I have hung on to over the years. I've actually tried to look up, you know, on eBay and some other places to see, and I've never actually seen another one with this American Eagle, but I know they made quite a few other different art versions. So I'm not 100% sure. I think this one is actually the model, I believe this is the 7638, the 200A Scrimshaw American Eagle. Has a weight of about 1 ounce, and the original manufacturer selling price was about $55. So I'll give you the measurements on it here. I'm reading that they made a 2-inch, a 2.5, and then a 3-inch. However, I'm not real sure from the measurements if this is the 2-inch or the 2.5. You can see overall it's about 4.25, with a handle size almost 2.5. But when I looked up the model, the only one that I saw with the American Eagle was listed as the 2-inch. So I'm not quite sure which one exactly this is, but you know, if anybody has any better information, please feel free to leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear any additional history that anybody knows on this series. But very neat little knife. It's got very, very nice fit and finish to it. The way it opens, you can just hear it has this nice positive click sound to it when it locks in place. So very tight tolerances on this knife. Just a really cool little gentleman's type carry knife. You can see the tang stamp on this one. It says Gerber on one side, and then Silver Knight Japan on the other. But really, really cool little knife. It's one that you know, I'm glad I've hung on to over the years and never got lost along the way. So put this back in my drawer, back in the collection, and just thought I'd bring it out today in honor of Memorial Day and show it to you guys, see what you think. So that being said, I hope everyone has a safe and enjoyable Memorial Day, and I hope to see you at the next video. Thanks.